Happy Friday, Mascoutah, and welcome to Tribe Talk. I'm Nicholas Nolden, and I'm co-anchoring this week's show with Paul Dismer. And starting off today is current events. Starting on April 12th, the COVID-19 vaccine will be available to everyone here in Illinois. You have to be 16 years or older or have an appointment in order to get one. And with that being said, let's send it over to Paul.
Thanks, Nick. If you guys are able to get your vaccines, make sure you guys can. If you're able to, of course. Well, let's bring it over to Sean to see what upcoming news is circling around Mascoutah High.
Thanks, Paul. Now with some information regarding the student body. If you are interested in a women's walk being hosted by No Place for Hate on March 30th, be sure to check out the flyers and informational postings on your class's Google Classroom page. Seniors, be sure to continue checking out the MHS counseling website for more information on scholarship opportunities until the very end of the year. The Good Vibe Tribe has 2 opportunities ready for MHS students. You can purchase Kindness and Good Vibe Tribe tie-dye t-shirts and crew necks using the Google Forms posted on the Good Vibe Tribe's Google Classroom page. You can join these using the codes next to me. And be sure to pay attention for more information on the upcoming egg design competition. More information on this egg design competition will be posted in Good Vibe Tribe's Google Classroom, so be sure to join if you're interested. And lastly, boys tennis. Your tryouts will be held the first week of April, and your season will be going until June 19th. So be sure to email Coach Carr if you have any questions regarding the tennis season. Now on to Zach with the update on sports and the ongoing spring sports seasons.
Thank you, Sean, for updating us on the news around the school. With the weather getting warmer, more and more sports are starting up. Today, we're going to recap the start of 3 sports seasons, and who better to do it than the best personality on Tribe Talk. Last Friday, the football team started their season off strong, beating Highland 35-20, led by quarterback Chase Hansen with 5 total touchdowns, 197 passing yards, and over 60 yards rushing. The Indians travel to Collinsville tonight. You can watch the game on the NFHS network. The game starts at 7 p.m. The volleyball team is 1-2 on their season so far. Their next home game is against Waterloo on March 30th at 6:15 in the main gym. The boys soccer team is off to a hot start with a record of 4-1-1, led by seniors Caden Cox, Chase Rust, Jared Padilla, and Kendall Cordoba. Their next home game is against Waterloo on April 1st at Alumni Field. Mascoutah athletics are off, and the sky's the limits for our athletes. We have all the faith in the world that they will have successful seasons. And now, let's throw it over to Paul to talk about a sensitive topic for me, March Madness. How does Illinois lose in the second round?
Thanks, Zach. And by the way, I'm sorry about that. But what is March Madness? It's time during March where NCAA basketball tournament happens, a combination of 64 teams, and they all go into a bracket depending on what seeding they're in, and they're facing each other for men and women college basketball. Over the past few days, there's been some exciting games happening since it started. In the first round of the men's tournament, there's been some pretty big upsets, like Oral Roberts being the number 15 seed, defeating the number 2 seed, Ohio State, 75-72. Another upset was the number 14 seed, ACU, beating the number 3 seed, Texas, 53-52. And also, in the second round, which honestly, in my opinion, is the biggest upset, Loyola Chicago beating Illinois 71-58. Yeah, Zach, I'm sorry about that. And also, the number 6 seed, USC, beating Kansas 85-51. But that's just not all the upsets in the March Madness. There's also some in the women's bracket. Like number 13 seed Wright State beating the number 4 seed Arkansas 66-62. So far, UConn has taken over the March Madness women's bracket and looking like to become champions. Now let's turn it over back to Nick to see what he has to talk about the upcoming spring season.
Spring allergies. What's wrong with them? I love them. But hang on just a second. It turns out seasonal allergies can cause a very minor case of pain and suffering. And what causes said pain and suffering? Pollen. Our immune system mistakes them as invaders, and as such releases histamines into our bodies, which causes the itchy eyes and runny nose. There is no cure for this pain and suffering, but there are medications that help alleviate it, such as antihistamines, for example. And to those out there who suffer from seasonal allergies, just hang in there. Spring only lasts for a couple of months, which, thinking about it now, is probably going to take forever. Anywho, to continue honoring Women's History Month, let's send it over to Julia, who will be talking about another person who has made an impact on the world.
In honor of Women's History Month, I would like to highlight the author S.E. Hinton. Who knew a 16-year-old high school student in 1967 could write an iconic novel that is still taught throughout American schools today? The Outsiders, Hinton's well-known novel, is set in Oklahoma in the 1960s. The book was inspired by two rival gangs at her high school: the Greasers, the working class which the book is told from their point of view, and the Socs, who were the upper class. The story brought to life the struggles of poverty and stereotypes given to those who lacked the resources to rise above their circumstances. Although written 60 years ago, the message and themes still ring true today, making its story relatable. S.E. Hinton's books changed the culture. Hinton received the inaugural 1988 Margaret A. Edwards Award from the Young Adult Library Services Association. They cited her first 4 YA novels, which had been published from 1967 to 1979 and adapted as films from 1982 to 1985. In 1992, she was inducted into the Phi Beta Kappa by the University of Tulsa. Shortly after, she was inducted into the Oklahoma Writers Hall of Fame at the Oklahoma Center for Poets and Writers of Oklahoma State University, Tulsa. But do you know what is most interesting about this famous author? Many people thought she was a man due to her use of initials instead of her full name on her published books. She knew if her female identity was exposed, people may not take interest in her work. This is the discrimination female authors experienced in her time. So in honor of Women's History Month, I would like to introduce to you Susan Eloise Hinton. Reporting for Tribe Talk, Julia Vasquez.
Happy Friday, Mascoutah. It has been a while since we have heard from our Students of the Month. We have January Student of the Month, Braden Bryant, and February Student of the Month, Grace Longyear. First, let's hear from Braden.
What's going on, everybody? It's Braden Bryant here, the January Student of the Month. And I'm here with Tribe Talk today to tell you 5 things about me. So, number 1 is that my favorite hobby is basketball. It's pretty much what I do every day. Number 2, my favorite restaurant is Raising Cane's, by far the best restaurant, no debate. Number 3, I like to collect shoes, as you may see in the background over here. I'm not sure how many pairs I have, but it is a lot. Number 4, my favorite drink in the entire world is a McDonald's sweet tea. Can't go wrong. And then number 5, in my free time, I like to read books as well as do artwork. So thanks for listening, and I appreciate it.
I'm here with February Student of the Month, Grace Longyear, and I'm going to ask you a few questions. Are you ready, Grace?
Yep.
All right, what is your favorite high school memory?
Dance team.
If you could be any superhero, which one would you be?
Spider-Man.
What's your favorite ice cream?
Any ice cream.
Where would you go if you had a time machine?
The 60s.
Rate my interview skills.
10 out of 10.
Seniors, there is still time to be nominated for Student of the Month. Make sure you're taking care of business inside and out of the classroom. This is Chase Hanser reporting for Tribe Talk.
Hi, I'm Gracie, and I'm a freshman here at Mascoutah. This month, I'm here to recognize the social, cultural, economic, and political achievements from the women you've heard about in textbooks to the women you know today. Giving a warm welcome back to Miss Lynch. Miss Lynch, what advice would you give to women pursuing your career field?
I would say for women, it's a great career field, but to be open to everything. Like when you go into social work, you need to be somebody who's going to be able to look at all sides of a problem, all sides of an issue, all sides of everything. So as long as you're an open person and open-minded, join us. We social workers are much needed.
This is Ms. Ladwig, and she works for the math department here at Mascoutah. Ms. Ladwig, what are some of the biggest challenges today that you think women face, and how do you think they'll change in the next 20 years?
Although this doesn't affect me personally, I think one of the biggest challenges is job equity and salary equity. I do, however, think that that's going to change. I think as we see more women in higher offices and just education levels becoming more equitable, I think that that is going to become closer. The gap is going to be bridged between men and women and job opportunities and salaries.
This is Ms. Butler. She teaches English here at Mascoutah. Ms. Butler, how important is it for women to stick together and lift each other up?
It's so important for women to stick together and lift one another up. We share a common bond, and truly the idea of feminism is the idea that women can choose for themselves who they want to be and what they want to do. So if a woman wants to stay in the home and raise children and have a family, great. If a woman wants to have a family and be in the boardroom, also great. If she just wants to be in the boardroom, even greater. Whatever. It's her choice to do what she wants to do, and so it's important for other women to rally behind her and support her along that journey.
This is Ms. Whiteside, and she teaches here at Mascoutah. She teaches World Cultures, U.S., AP Euro, and African American Studies. Ms. Whiteside, what barriers have you faced and how did you overcome them?
Oh wow, so many barriers in life. Oh my gosh, I could tell you a lot. But I would say the biggest one that kind of stands out to me was probably when I was in college. My first 4 years of college, when I went to Cal State University Fullerton, I was a chemistry major, was thinking about being a pharmacist, I worked in labs, all those different type of things. And then at the end, by my 4th year, I was like, I am just not feeling this. So I had to rethink. I wanted a whole new change. So I moved to a different state, changed universities, broke up with the boyfriend, and decided, okay, I gotta do something else. So the hurdle to me is really the time, because I was thinking, okay, I should be finished here by now, but I wasn't. But I stuck with it. Make sure I didn't sit out any semesters, make sure I took care of all the money and all that kind of good stuff. And before you know it, I was done. It did take me longer than the average 4 years, but it was well worth it. I went on to start teaching, went on to get my master's degree. And even though, you look at it, it's like, why is this taking so long? In the end, it was so well worth it. I really appreciate breaking through those barriers.
This is Ms. Garlick, and she's a school social worker here at Mascoutah. Ms. Garlick, who is one female figure in your life that gives you inspiration for who you are and how you want to be today?
Someone who has inspired me to be who I am today and who I want to continue to be is actually my mom. Growing up, my dad worked a lot. We didn't have a lot of money, so my mom was kind of the one that was around and had to take care of us. And she is a very independent person and very outspoken, and is always very assertive. So she kind of says what's on her mind, in a respectful way, of course. But that's kind of how I've come to be. I like to be direct, I like to be forward, I like to get things done, and I don't think that I necessarily always need a man or a male figure to help me do that. So as corny as it kind of sounds, my mom is who inspires me and helps me be what I want to be.
Alright, thank you. This wraps up International Women's Month here at Mascoutah. Stay safe and happy Friday.